that we've been going from all these deities, you get to understand that through time, there's been so many of these created to kind of also confuse people, right? To keep dividing in religion, something of a belief. But when you get to a Libra, they all have the same energy that they're connecting to
Yeah.
Zeus, connects to Sagittarius,
Yeah.
all, there's no exception.
They're
The
all
only
connected to
exception is
Zeus
that
in some way. Yeah,
the only
somehow.
the only thing is the personality. So now you see why I get a little bit feisty when people come in and try to say, "Oh, but it's this one," and I'm like, whatever it is, it all comes from Venus.
Yeah.
It all comes from Venus. And then when people understand that the earth creates personality through its metals, through the rare earth metals, they're transition metals, metals that allow the chemistry set of divine to come down and be a vessel on earth and create a personality, because earth gives you a personality and the heavens create you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So I'm thinking that the Babylonian ones were the very first. I think they
Oh, they
started
were.
this.
Because of floods came in
Yeah.
the age of Cancer.
I think
The
that
age of
they
Cancer.
started it because it's like, so the goddess of the sea mated with the god of the groundwater, right? Um, so in the sacred marriage between the two waters, that's like those conspiracy theories about the origins of our species, that we were possibly like,
Water animals. Now we're like underwater.
we were like genetically engineered to
Of
like
course. I
be here,
agree.
right?
I agree on
So
that.
that's what it reminds me of. It's like the two waters, meaning like they took something from somewhere and then something else from somewhere else and mixed it together to create this harmonious creature that can do all these things.
Yeah. Yeah. That can create or destroy. Like that's our
So, yeah.
capability, right? And what you said, man, Libra, like it feels so good when somebody understands how you can see and not be confused when you understand the essence of where something comes from.
Hmm.
So when we understand the essence of Venus, right, you get to understand this is what Venus creates. These are the chemical compositions of Venus, right? It creates you to have this. And then when you connect it with the earth, right, you can understand that the earth gives personality, but the base energy of what you're created from still comes from that planet. It just gives you a personality, so you react to it maybe a little different, but all Venuses are for justice as for Libra. It's all about justice. Some way or another, it's about justice and the beauty and the harmony and the creativity, right? And it's also the one that symbolizes the death and that the fate, because it's fate. It's in the seventh house. Sun
Yeah.
set, set, sun set. The house of set. It's set.
Yeah.
It's time to go to the underworld. It's time to
Yeah.
go under. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Libra starts the cycle and ends the cycle.
And that's why the sun is always at its slowest pace in Libra. Did you know that it's always at its fall? But the moon and Venus correlate well with Venus.
Yeah.
It's like you want to say the sun is always fighting against her, you know what I mean? Trying
Yeah.
to be the brightest, but Venus is the one that created that. That's what it's.
Interesting, because my son and his father are both Leos.
Oh, and that right there
Mm,
shows you that there's always going to be, I'm going to shine brighter. But in reality, you created them. If you want to talk about spirituality, your essence of mother is in both. So there's a lot of that in Libras, that sometimes the energy of emotions are overwhelming because you can't bring justice with emotions.
yeah. Do you know what I'm learning, that the Libra energy is like that, that saying that your mom would say, like, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it.
That's Libra.
That's Libra energy.
That's Libra energy all the way. Like, and
Yeah.
so sometimes it comes off as we were talking about cold, but it's the only way to bring justice, because if you put emotion behind it, justice will never be done. It won't. It won't. It won't. Like when you talk to me sometimes, you just bring it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like where's your heart? But it's not your heart. It's like you.
Really?
But that's good.
Well, you should, I don't know, call me
What?
out.
But why? Why am I going to call you out? Because I need to hear it like that sometimes. I need to hear the truth in a way where emotions are put aside, right? Because Sagittarius, we are the most emotional fire sign. Like, look at my passion. When people hear me, they think I'm aggressive sometimes. And it's not I mean, it couldn't come off like that and it can be, but we have the fire, right? So you have to understand the balance of air signs. A lot of my best friends are Libras. Look at you and Eeyore. And I go back to my high school and it's kind of like one of those, it can be extremely loved, but the thing is I was Sag. I know now what to control because it's all about one wants to be in the rights of the law, and the other one wants to be in the rights of the morale, and it can clash sometimes. It's funny because they're my best friends, but at times I know how to. I can be overwhelming too. I can be overwhelming for you guys. You guys are easier to just cut with a sword. Whoosh, I'm done. I cut that person out of my life forever without even
Which one
remembering.
is the one with the sword again?
Yes.
One of them has a sword.
Is it honest?
No, where is it? Oh, it was Justitia, the
Oh, you know what
Roman
you
lady
know
of
what justicia
justice.
means? That means justice. In Spanish, justicia.
Yeah,
Justicia, justicia.
Justitia.
Yeah.
Justitia, I don't know. She's blindfolded, holding one sword in one hand and the scales in the other hand. And that
Yes.
is supposed to symbolize impartiality or whatever, being impartial, and weighing the evidence.
Without emotion.
Yeah,
And that's why sometimes guilt hits you best because when a Libra feels guilt, is
yeah,
because there's some injustice that they felt that they've done within themselves. And
yeah, I
sometimes
guess, yeah.
it's emotional, but it's really just the injustice of guilt. So I can understand Spanish a little.
It's like it's like she's bringing the sword down to, like, like execute or something, like, to cut the rope. It's
Thank
kind of
you,
like,
Julie. I just did Julie a reading. That's the one I was doing, Dua Libra. And let me tell you,
okay.
Julie, I had such an amazing reading with you because when I read people, like I feel that I connect to you guys. Like I get to know you. Like I get to know you. And it's crazy because I see somebody's chart and it's like, okay, I know them. How? I don't know. I'm good at reading astrology, at the symbols. I'm good at math. And connecting with you and your children. I'm already picturing you and your children. Like it's crazy. I picture you with your Leo as a Libra and a Leo. I already see that. And so I understand it in such a different way. I understand it in a way that the personality and behavioral reactions are due to the chemical compositions you're made out of that come from these planets. So if we understand that, then we'll understand personal behavior and issues where we are supposed to be environmentally because it's all about your environment. So think of yourself of this petri dish that you're in the constellation of a petri dish of Libra, and let's see how Libra reacts in different environments. We got to test her out, right? And one of the things that's interesting about Libra, it comes from the process of sublimation, right? When it's something that you refine an experiment, right? And you can make it come from gas to solid. It skips the aqua. There's no water within the process, right? So you go into the personality of Libra, and all Libras enjoy a warm bath and enjoy a jacuzzi, but they're not one to let me dip my head in the water for hours and hours. It's not so. Learning about that composition that makes you, and then you realize that you put into this vessel and you react to water because that experiment reacts to water. That's part of you.
Yep.
You get that? So
Yep. Do you want to hear more about this?
yes, talk, please talk.
About we were the Tiamat.
Yes, let's
I
hear
think
about it.
it's really cool because so it says in the Imuma Elish, I don't know, some text. The Babylonian epic of creation, Tiamat bears the first generation of deities, her husband Abzu, correctly assuming that they are planning to kill him and usurp his throne. I don't know why they use such weird words. Later makes war upon them and is killed. Enraged, she also wars upon her husband's murderers, bringing forth multitudes of monsters as offspring. She is then slain by Enki's son, the storm god Marduk, brings forth the monsters of the Mesopotamian pantheon, including the first dragons, whose bodies she fills with poisons instead of blood. Marduk then integrates elements of her body into the heavens and the earth. So that's the creation story of humanity, basically. This is the Babylonian epic of creation.
All right. Keep on as I'm reading, as I'm going to go investigate that. I like that. So
Yeah.
Marduk and who?
So there's Abzu, Marduk, and Enki. And this is Tiamat.
Well, yeah, that would make sense because that falls into the timeline of the Anunnaki.
Yeah. This is the Babylonians.
Exactly.
And then,
So Marduk is Jupiter.
is it?
Ha 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 ha. It's funny. Okay.
Sumerian. Yep. So, the god of ancient Mesopotamia and the patron deity of the city of Babylon. When Babylon became the political center of the Euphrates Valley in the time of her Hammurabi, I don't know. Marduk slowly started to rise to the position of the head of the Babylonian pantheon, a position he fully acquired by the second half of the second millennium.
Okay. Give me a second.
And then Enki is Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, and creation, and is one of the Anunnaki. Yeah.
So this a story of the Anunnaki that goes forward to the age of the Greeks, then goes forward to the age of the Romans. It's like these same entities with that energy, reincarnation in vessels,
Yeah.
reincarnation in humans, and
they keep influencing cultures through
that.
time.
So see that so when people go back to the time of the Mesopotamian, that was something that was. It doesn't mean it's fake. But what I'm trying to tell
No.
people to connect, you got to connect with the age of Pisces. You got to
Yeah.
connect with what has that evolved to? It's evolved from the Gemini to Taurus to Aries to Pisces and now Aquarius. So now that
Yeah.
we're in Aquarius, you got to pick up Pisces. You cannot just go back and pick up Taurus, Gemini, because people are getting confused. And I see that, but I'm telling you, and you picked it up. The age of Pisces, what we got to pick up. So where are these deities located during this time?
Yeah. Well, I'd say they're in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, but like Lucifer is Venus.
I think that I think at this point, like the celebrities are who our deities are, right?
Well, yeah, all celebrities, even from the media, even
Yeah.
because celebrities are anyone that I believe is like the in the gladiator time where they had the people that they're high paid slaves. They're high paid slaves. That's what they are. And that's interesting that you say that. So keep on adding on, and then we're gonna have people jump in the box. My phone is charging at 60%, so I'm gonna be able to put my headphones. It's like for me, it's all right. Keep on asking, and I'll invite some people in a few. Hello, guys. How are you? I think that celebrities are puppets or wannabes. Well, they're puppets because I believe that they sold their essence to a dark entity to receive the facilities without effort. You know, like skipping the line to get there. They want to be rich, right? So they sold their
Like
soul.
they paid for the special package at Disney so that they don't have to wait in the lines.
And what happens to that is that you don't experience the waiting in line. What I mean by that is that you don't experience what it is to get to that level. So even when they're actually enjoying their nice things, they really are not. Because if an energy has taken over them, the energy is inviting them in and they're enjoying it through the energy, not through who they really are. And it's said that the person that was within them is behind their essence of subconscious wanting to break free. They're not experiencing it. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. The energy of that demon is experiencing them. So people see the physical, right? That's why they say
Yeah.
they're like an avatar.
Well, I think that like it's like they're programmed into that certain role. So if you look at like Aphrodite, like I think like Taylor Swift, like people like that. And like there's probably a few of them that fit into like
She's a Sag.
that role, right?
Mhm.
What'd you say?
She's a Sagittarius.
Yeah, I know. But I mean like the essence
Oh,
of
I know. I
a
just don't know
character,
her
right? Because
No,
that's what they are, is that they're characters. They're playing like a role, they're playing a character. But
but their
I
character,
think that like they set them up and they write their characters to fit into these roles so that they can carry this story out on the world stage.
yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. And I believe that Britney Spears was one that wanted to break free because I believe that in 2015, when she was talking about this whole the child sacrifices and all that, I thought she was crazy as fuck. I didn't know where she was coming from, and then I realized that there's a lot of this that people don't realize that if people do anything for money, right? Like for money, right? What's a higher commodity than us? Like you can literally know that a baby that you can reproduce its energy, its blood. Think about stem cell research, right? Is how we rejuvenate old cells, and parabiosis is a transfusion of young blood to an old body, right? So this is something that is not only crazy, it can be scientifically proven because it has. And
Yeah.
to know that we are so blind to not see that the most precious thing on earth is us, not things. When people start to think that they're doing it for money, they don't want to look into what human trafficking is. And human
Yeah.
trafficking is a big thing that we need to know that's happening
Yeah.
right now.
Do
How
you
can
want to
people be so
know
blind to turn the
what
cheek
I'm
knowing
you
that
want
a
to know what I'm
child is
thinking
crying
about
for his
this Britney
mother?
Spears thing though?
What?
She fits into the Aphrodite or like the Lucifer role. She fits into that perfectly, into like, because she at one point she was like a favorite, right? She was like America's little angel, you know what I mean? And then she had that fall from grace moment,
Mhm.
and she was like the embodiment of purity, fertility, love, and all
Yes.
of that, like that artistic side of Aphrodite. Grace, and now it's like she's a whistleblower.
You think
Is
so?
what, like
Or
she's
you,
that Lucifer light bringer energy.
Okay, but can you use that? Or are you still going to pay? Okay, like paying for her sins. Okay, but you still got to pay the price.
What do you mean?
Well, I believe that a lot of these entities, not all of them are part of the cabal, right? Some of them, there's a very few that actually do these rituals, right? What I believe is how they got into Hollywood. A lot of the times it was also blackmail. They
Yeah.
would give them things, try this out, and a
Oh
lot of it
yeah.
would be adrenochrome.
Oh
And
yeah. I know all about that, but I mean like I'm talking like with their PR team, and this is like the character they're crafting for them in the public eye. Like that's what I mean. Like,
oh yeah,
but
but do you
yeah,
think
I
they're
know all
puppets?
that
Do you
background.
think they're
Like
puppets?
that's what's really going on behind the scenes. But I mean like
Do you think they're
in their
puppets?
public narrative kind of persona. That's what I meant.
Do you think they're puppets? I think they are.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
what I mean. I think
okay,
that
okay, okay. Like,
they're crafted. They are play. I don't think a lot of them, like those big names, get any say over
no,
their
I,
name,
mhm.
right? And Dave Chappelle talked about that once, about how like, and it's not necessarily like a science fiction type thing. Like it's legitimately just like signing contracts where like, so you know how Prince, he became the artist formerly known as Prince,
Yes.
right? Remember that? That's because Prince was like owned by the label. So they were like, they had the right to do whatever they wanted with the name Prince.
Hmm.
And I think that's what's happening with all these other artists like Britney Spears and Kanye West and things like that. They, the company now owns that as a trademark, right?
Hmm.
And it's like almost like they need to create like an alter ego just to break free, to like be a normal person. Even so,
Yes.
like, and this is why I think a lot of them are faking their deaths, right? Because it's like they can like die in the public eye, even though like, and like Mac Miller for is a good example of this, because they like put out music and stuff after his death. They put out a whole album and stuff.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I have this weird feeling like he's still behind the scenes doing stuff, but like the label owns the name. So they can do whatever they want with like any music that was created under that name or anything like that. Like they have complete and total control over that name because it's a trademark, like it's a corporation, right?
Hmm.
But like that's why I think they're a lot of them are faking their deaths because like then they can just kind of like fuck off and like go like be a normal person and like be like fuck it, I don't want anything to do with the music industry anymore. Take because that's their soul, right? They're selling their soul, which is like this name, this like creative thing that was like attached to their essence,
Yep.
and now they have to like sell that off just to like break free from the chains of the cult.
Yep. No, I agree with you because, the thing is that do you really break out once you enter, or do you just find a way to exit without
Yeah.
repercussion?
I think it's probably different for everyone, but because it like depends too. I think a lot of them get out like probably a lot of them realize before they get too far
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yes, yes. Like Roseanne
you
Barr was
know?
talking about that. Macaulay Culkin was talking how a lot of them, 'cause they have to lure you in like a normal human, right? They got to get you to want the beautiful things in life. So
Yeah.
what happens after that is you have a choice to let the vampire into your home or not, to your heart.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of them saw what was going on and they said, wait a second, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So what happened when they do that? Bash him, drug addict, horrible, the worst of the worst.
And some people don't care, and some people do. Some people just go, "Oh well, bash me in the media then."
What
That's
kind
take
of,
that's character assassination, right?
well, because they're fucking with their career.
Well, and that's the thing is some of them are saying, "I don't want a career in this anymore. If this is what that means, I
And
gotta be a witness to all that kind of stuff. I don't care. Bash me in the media. Say whatever the hell you want about me." Some people can take that, right?
yes.
But like maybe sometimes they can't.
Well, or sometimes they allow their greed, their lust to overtake
Yeah, and
their,
some of them are easily manipulated. Some
well,
of them, I'm sure some of them they get threatened.
well, they get threatened when they go to a party and then they take pictures of them with
Yeah,
individuals. They blackmail them, right?
yeah,
And also they get them addicted to like this adrenochrome. That's what they
yeah,
do. Think about that. A lot of them have also been addicted to this because of like being pushed onto them, right? So
yeah.
a lot of them have realized what they were doing. We can talk about names of people who, when they found out, like if you have you ever seen Glee?
What is it?
Have you ever seen Glee?
Glee. Oh yeah,
Okay, Glee. So Glee was always a show that I loved. I thought because the musicals and all that, right? But what happened to the actors? Three of the main characters are gone.
yeah. Well, one of them was a pedo.
Or was he not? Or was he trying to expose them? Because I actually saw the truth in the way that they were hanged, like Anthony Bourdain, a symbol of don't talk anymore. It's a symbol of what they leave: hanging, suicide.
Yeah, so you think
So,
that they could have just assassinated his
yeah, I know.
character to
Yeah, like
shut him
Anthony
up?
Bourdain. I love Anthony Bourdain. I cried when Anthony Bourdain died
No,
because
he
he
was
was,
a guy from Glee, one of
and
those
the guy
guys
from
from
Glee.
Glee.
He was not. He was not.
Sure. Wasn't he convicted though?
He was, well, doesn't the law convict the right people and not
Yeah,
the
I
wrong
guess,
people?
but I don't know.
He never went to jail though. So what was happening, he was going to expose the motherfucker of Ryan Murphy, who was actually the creator.
Yeah.
Well, because that show had a lot of dirt too. Hold on a second, I'm getting the door. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, do Libra, we did pretty good. You see?
What?
Well, we've been keeping, 15 viewers straight, and that's
Oh yeah.
for you and I, that's not bad. Hold on, let me get my headphones.
So listen to this, okay? This is Enki.
All right, go
The cosmogenic myth common in Sumer was that of the Heros Gamos, a secret marriage where divine principles in the form of dualistic opposites came together as male and female to give birth to the cosmos.
So you're talking about like the deities that we were prior to talking.
Yeah, Enki.
Okay.
This is under Enki.
Enki and I,
Yeah, it's the Anunnaki one.
okay.
Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, creation, and one of the Anunnaki.
And
Yeah, so one of the original Anunnaki.
so see that's what I believe. I actually believe that we were, these species that were here on Earth, right? And I believe that there's been infiltration within that to give us consciousness, right? You can call it the apple. You can call it something that gave us that notion to reason. And that was actually I believe that we were manipulated through our essence of who we are to become something, if you want to get biblical, as Lucifer, the apple, to give us consciousness to see the light. But we weren't ready. And this is where I believe the biblical part is where God punished Lucifer. Look what you did with our whatever, right? Experiment is what it was, right? Or with his children that maybe he was growing. I'm just trying to say like mythological, okay, like a mythology. And we start to understand that This is what gave us the essence to understand and bring light. And so therefore, as punishment, Lucifer got to reign over us and teach us the desires, how to use our discernment, how to use our dark energy, which is a spirit. Because see, the soul is the moon that we come. It gives us the essence of the intelligence of nature, right? And then Venus gives us the creativity. It's a spirit, so it gives us that to actually use discernment, use creativity, use it for destruction, whatever it's used for. But you have that through the essence of Venus, or that famous apple that was given to us to create.
You know, we could do this every week and do a different sign.
So why don't we look? I have this one.
Do Scorpio or something.
So I'm gonna send you this video, or I'm gonna keep it for myself. And what we could do is start putting them up on YouTube, start putting them up on Rumble, and you can. And if you want, since you have a little more time and you can help me out, I'll give you the video. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know how to put it up. Put it up on YouTube. Put it
Yep.
under our an account. I don't have an. I think I have an account on YouTube. I haven't really used it. I have one on Rumble. Remember Damien's 97. So that's the one I have on Rumble. But then I have the one on YouTube. I think it's Astrotherapist. You can look it up. I only have one video. I haven't even started on that one. But we can. Why don't we add that? Why don't we start putting the videos that we're doing now one by one and putting them up for people to see? And then if they want to subscribe, they subscribe if they want to hear more, right? Because we subscribe when we want to hear more. So there you go, Libra. So if you want to, we can end it for now, and I could start another live in a little bit for the others, so you can. You've had a long day. So is there any last words that you want to ask, my dear friend?
No, not really.
All
I'll
right,
do
guys.
it
I
later.
will be back exactly at 10 o'clock. That's in 18 minutes. I'm going to take a little break. And Libra, please join. I'll take charge
Yep.
this time, and I'll talk astrology. I'll talk about where the planets are going right now, because I did a little bit of the astrological too for the collective. And for the collective, we're going through a lot of this retrograde energy. So it's really important to know, where is your Neptune in your chart? Where is your Saturn in your chart? Where is your Venus in your chart? Because Venus is going to be actually where you're going to have to focus and see where you're going to have to kind of, okay, so the energy of my desires are going to come towards this part of my life. And when we understand that, trust me that it facilitates the journey of why me? Because I'm there, I don't have time for that right now. That's why I love you. Like, we can go into that, kind of like falling energy, but we pick each other up instead of coddle each other. We don't coddle right now. I hope that makes sense, because we got to be strong, Libra. Because if I'm gonna coddle you, then what? You're a warrior. Hello. You're part of Lucifer's army. Get back up. All
We all
right.
need to be coddled sometimes.
I know. I know.
Even
Trust me. I
you.
know. Even me. All
Let
right.
somebody coddle you.
Oh. Oh. See, I have to work on that. All right. Well,
Yeah.
fine, guys. I'll be back in about 15 minutes, and
Everybody
I'll
needs
invite you.
someone to lean on every now and then.
We all need somebody to
Yeah.
lean on. We have to do karaoke soon, too.
Hmm.
Sing some music. All right, guys. I'll see you in about 18 minutes. Thank you.
All right, see ya.